Hello, my most amazing artists. Today, we are coming back and adding to some of the pollinators that we made last week. What we're going to end up doing is bubble printing some honeycombs. Do you remember the bees that we made? Now we're going to come back and we are going to create a background for our bees. And I'll show you how we're going to do this. We're going to put all of these together and make one giant hive of honeycomb. So after my name is on the middle of my paper, I'm going to set that aside, and I have a few things here. I have a piece of bubble wrap. I have a paintbrush. I have some water for my paint, and of course I've got some paint. Okay, so let's see how we're going to use these things to create our print today. So down here I have my paint. I have got this square. I'm going to make sure that I'm not on the flat side, I'm on the textured side, the side with the bumps. I know it can be very tempting to pop these, but if we do that, we won't be able to make our art. So please keep your bubble wrap nice and don't push on it, okay? So you are allowed to use 4 colors in your print. Please do not use more than 4. We're going to be careful not to get paint on the edge of our bubble wrap so that we don't make a mess on our table, okay? Let's make things a little easier. So I'm going to pick my first color here, and I always usually like to start with my lightest color first, which in this case is yellow, and this helps me to keep my paint dish clean, my water dish, and keeps me from contaminating paint quite as easily. So I'm going to add this on the surface, and I'm brushing gently. You do want to spread your paint out because if it sits in a glob, it's not going to give us that texture that we want. So I'm going to add paint in a couple places, and you can kind of create a design if you want to, but you definitely don't have to. I think here I'm kind of going with like a circular shape, but you can kind of apply it randomly. I've done it that way too. Here you can see I'm rinsing my brush. If I just put it in there, it's not going to do anything. If I swirl it around, it's not going to do anything. But if I tap gently on the bottom, those bristles are allowed to spread out, and that allows the paint to escape. So we go dip, dip. If it drips, wipe it on the lip, drag an X on the sponge. Okay, now I'm able to get a different color. And when I dip my paintbrush in there, I'm not getting my paint all over the metal part or the ferrule. That's going to help you clean it up a little bit later. So I'm adding the paint where I want it. And here I'm kind of mixing colors, and that's okay. I want it to be kind of a golden color. Rinse my brush, tapping the bottom, wipe the lip, drag an X, pick a different color. Here I think I'm going to go for a slightly darker color in the middle, and maybe even around the outside. Maybe I want some over here. Rinse my brush. Okay, and if I wanted to add one more color, I could, but I think I'm actually happy with what I have here. So I'm going to go with this. Okay, and I'm going to again rinse my brush really well before I set it aside. I'll put these things out of our way for just a moment. And let's see how we're going to get this on our paper. So I have it all spread out where I want it. I'm staying away from the edge. I got that nice border still. I've got my paper here, and I'm going to find the center of my paper, and I'm going to flip this guy over. As soon as it touches the paper, I cannot move it, because when you're printmaking, if you move it, it will ruin your design. So now I'm just going to very gently massage over the entire surface, and then I can grab a corner and gently lift, and voila, there is a nice print underneath. Now, it is okay if it turned out a little imperfect. I can scoot it down. I can do it again. And maybe a little bit more down here. I don't mind a little bit of layering. Okay? Now that looks pretty good. Next week, we're going to let this dry, and when we come back, we will cut them into hexagonal shapes or hexagons so that we can create our honeycomb. Okay, I hope you have a lot of fun printmaking. Remember to wash your supplies when you're done and return things to the correct place. If you make a spill on your desk, you can get a paper towel and clean it up. Have a lot of fun. See you later.